Hello and welcome to all. Today's session we will see comparison between NUnit and TestNG for automation testing. Okay, so we'll start with the overview. So NUnit, it is a unit testing framework for .NET ecosystem, and it's inspired by the JUnit and commonly used with C Sharp, .NET Core, and ASP.NET. Whereas the TestNG, it is also a unit testing framework for Java ecosystem and designed to overcome limitation of JUnit. Okay, and if you see, TestNG widely used with Selenium and the Java automation framework. Okay, so coming to the other difference. Okay, so NUnit, if you see in NUnit, we can use the C Sharp or .NET, whereas in TestNG we are using the core Java. Okay, and considering the ecosystem, okay, NUnit basically is a .NET. Okay, where the TestNG we are using Java ecosystem. Okay, and considering the configuration, okay, so when we are using the attribute, okay, so in NUnit, okay, like at the test, okay, or tear down setup, okay, we are using the attribute. Similarly, in test engine, we are using the annotations. Okay, and considering the parallel execution, okay, in NUnit and TestNG, both are supported. Okay, considering the data-driven testing, okay, so in NUnit we have a test case, whereas in TestNG we have data provider one annotation. Okay, through data provider annotation, we are providing the different types of set data into single test case or methods. Okay, and considering the grouping, okay, we can segregate the smoke test cases, regression test cases, sanity test cases. Okay, so in TestNG we have a groups annotations, whereas in NUnit we have categorize. Okay, using categorize we can segregate them different test cases. Okay, again, considering the dependency management perspective, okay, so in TestNG we are strongly supporting using the annotation depends on methods, whereas in NUnit we have limited, okay, resource. Okay, then considering next comparison, okay, now if you see here in left hand side, it's a it's a TestNG annotation at the rate test we have used. Okay, and here test attribute we have used. Okay, and the method is a syntax is the same. Okay, and text fixture we are using for the class level. Here it's optional. It's not required. It's not mandatory. Okay, and here we need to import the testng dot assert testng dot annotations. Okay, here we need to use the using NUnit framework. Okay, and here we can quickly compare the different methods like test method. Okay, here we are using attribute test, whereas here we are using the annotations at the rate test. Okay, same way, if you want to execute a setup before all the test method, then we have a attribute in NUnit one time setup, whereas in TestNG we have a annotation at before switch. Okay, same way, when we need to execute the setup before each, then we have setup and tear down. Okay, same way in TestNG we have a annotation at before method, at after method, so that it will execute after each method. Okay, and as I mentioned, text feature, it's a class level in NUnit, where in TestNG is optional. Okay, and like as I mentioned, NUnit uses the attribute. Here you can see different attribute we have used, whereas this is called annotations in Java style. Okay, and considering the data-driven testing, okay, so here you can see for this test method, we are sending the test data. Okay, here simple inline test data. Okay, whereas in test engine we have we are using the at data provider annotation. Okay, and it's returning double dimensional array. Okay, so here you can see, and here using this method, okay, we are just calling data provider methods, and we are just asserting the first name, username, and the password. Okay, so here we can see like in in unit, okay, simple inline test data. Within TestNG, it's a more flexible but requires separate two methods. Okay, so again, coming to the parallel execution, both are supporting parallel execution. Okay, and like here in TestNG, we need to update in suite testng.xml. Okay, we need to give the thread count, and parallel is equal to methods or class, we need to mention it. Okay. And in NUnit, we need to use the attribute. Here you can see parallelization, parallel scope dot all. Okay. Then coming to the test grouping, okay. So in TestNG we have groups annotations, whereas in NUnit we have category. Okay. So both serve similar purpose, but TestNG integrates grouping deeply with execution. Just remember. Then coming to the dependency management, okay. So in TestNG we have depends on method annotation. Okay, unless like this at the rate at test, this method depends on the login test. Okay, if login test is execute, then and then this test will execute. Otherwise, this test will not execute. Okay, so considering the dependency management, test engine is a better for complex workflows based test execution. Okay, coming to the reporting. Okay, NUnit also have a basic reporting where test engine also have built-in HTML reports. Okay, we can use for the reporting purpose as well. Okay, so coming to NUnit and TestNG, when to use what. Okay, so if in case we are working in .NET project, okay, or we're using the Playwright with C Sharp, and if in case you're using Microsoft tech stack, then definitely we'll go ahead with the NUnit. Whereas TestNG, like we are working in Java in the Selenium ecosystem, and we need advanced execution control, okay, or we have a large enterprise framework, then definitely we'll prefer the TestNG. Okay, so this is the difference between the NUnit and the TestNG. Okay, and last, just remember, NUnit and TestNG are not a competitors in the same ecosystem. They are the parallel solution for the different technology stacks. Okay, like as we mentioned earlier also. Okay, for NUnit is a .NET ecosystem we are basically using, where the TestNG we are using for the Java ecosystem. Okay, so real like here, keep in mind the real decision depends on whether your automation framework or your application built in .NET or Java, and accordingly we need to use either NUnit or the TestNG. Okay, so if in case you have any questions, queries, please let me know. Thank you so much.